Hello, BookTube. I've got a last week in BookTube for you. It's a little bit late. I thought about doing it on Monday, first thing, and then I thought, well, Monday got away from me, so it didn't happen then. And then I thought Tuesday, and then I thought, no, well, it's too late to do it last week in BookTube, but it's not too late, especially since these are rolling recommendations. These are videos, for those of you who maybe don't know what I'm talking about, these are videos where I look back on some of the viewing that I've done on YouTube. I watch YouTube all day long. A lot. I watch a lot of YouTube and a huge amount of BookTube. So sometimes I like to make videos. In the past on this channel, it's been a regular feature where I've made a video pointing out some highlights, pointing them out to you with links. And I've heard enough over the years from people saying, this is really helpful, or this has introduced me to a lot of things I wouldn't have known about, so that I know that there's some use to it. So this is not in any way a comprehensive list. Obviously, this list could be a lot longer. The last week in BookTube I did, I think 2 weeks ago, also could have been much longer. I will get better at this as I go along, but I thought we'd do a few things anyway, and I'll leave all the links down below. And we'll start, ordinarily I would do these things, the world, YouTube, and then BookTube. We're not going to talk about the world. So we'll just have to start with YouTube. And I have the trusty iPad here. There are 3 things that I want to recommend that I watched on YouTube. General YouTube, not book related. The first one is Vividan. The BookTube channel Vividan, who does prehistoric life videos. And they're wonderful. And they're so entertaining. They're so fun. But knowledgeable. And he did one on Megasauropods. Megasauropods. So sauropods that are just about as big as living animals get. And he ranks them according to tiers, and he describes what we know of them, often from very little physical material. And all in such a knowledgeable way that I'll leave a link to it down below. If you're a dinosaur fan, you've got to find this channel. Then the next one is, there's a channel called Worcester Terrariums. This is a guy who makes the most mind-bogglingly complex and beautiful terrariums that you've ever seen. Where he will take a jar, just an ordinary jar from your kitchen, and he'll lay in a substrata, and then maybe a little wire mesh, and then maybe a little sand or soil, and then maybe a few physical features of geography, a piece of driftwood or a rock or something, and then he'll start to grow things in it. And it's astonishing what he can do. Some of these terrariums that he's shown on his channel are 50 or 60 years old. They've just had an ecosystem of their own, growing and reproducing and mutating inside that ecosystem for all that time. And he is so skilled, not only at doing it, but at filming what he's doing. And he did one called, I Built a Giant No-Tech Terrarium. That is not true. It is not specifically no-tech. But it's awful low-tech. And he likes also to make sure that, because when you build a terrarium, you need technological requirements. You need filters and water changers and whatnot. And he would like it so that you don't need that, right? A pond in your backyard is basically an open-air terrarium, and it doesn't need you to intervene at all. He would like it to be like that. And in this, he comes close, and it's amazing. Just you'll learn so much, and it's also beautiful. You might even be tempted to make a terrarium of your own. And he has some tutorials, some very encouraging tutorials about what to do if you want to make a terrarium of your own. I even briefly thought of it myself. Then I dismissed the idea completely. And then the third YouTube video that I want is also the ancient world. It's not dinosaurs. It's ancient humans. The channel is North02. And he is amazing. His channel is amazing. He's a young guy. But he's so knowledgeable about prehistoric humans, prehistoric hominids of all kinds, even to the point, even to the geeky, satisfying point for me. He has made replicas of some of the clothing, the hide and fur clothing that these Paleolithic people would have worn. He's made duplicates of some of the weapons they would have used, and he's actually used them. There's some footage, some B-roll footage in some of his videos of him taking a napped flint spear and hurling it at a pumpkin from a distance. Amazing. It's amazing. It cannot be that far different from what the actual reality was like 500,000 years ago. And he did a video called They Hunted Lions. That's the one I'll link to down below, but I recommend binging on all of these channels. He did a video on how Neanderthals hunted the giant lions of their day. that it wouldn't have been just a question of them following lions to scavenge kills, and it wouldn't just have been a question of lions hunting them. It would have been them also hunting lions, Neanderthals. And it's fascinating. These kinds of things, these kinds of YouTube videos are just fascinating. So that's YouTube. And now we will sink into the weeds of BookTube, but just a few channels, because this is not exhaustive this time around. I will try to keep better notes so that next week's Last Week in BookTube is much longer. But we can start off with Michael K Vaughan, staple BookTube channel. Everyone who watches this channel watches Michael K Vaughan, and he did a video recently that I was waiting for him to do. There's a brand new biography of Robert E. Howard. You saw it on this channel. You saw it on his channel. He got a copy, and he reviewed it. And who better to review it than him? So very much a video to watch if you're interested in what is in that book and whether or not he thinks you should buy it. Then Gavin at Genre Books went to Hay on Wye, a book town with bookshop after bookshop after bookshop after bookshop, every possible distinction. So really high-priced, expensive shops, charity shops, and everything in between. And Gavin basically just he reeled his way from one end of town to the other, made a whole bunch of videos. I'm going to link them all, because a lot of you who watch my channel, and probably a lot who watch his channel, are never going to get to Hay on Wye. This is the closest you're going to get to experiencing it. And you get to see his hauls, which is really nice. Really Random Reads did a really good video on that discussion video / tag or whatnot that went around recently about rereading. Do you reread? Why do you reread? When do you reread? He did a wonderfully thoughtful job on that, so I'll leave a link to it. Then Joshua Crebo celebrated April Adventures, which is a BookTube event created by Robin Song Reads. He created an event called April Adventures, where we go all read all sorts of adventure stuff, but also you are encouraged in April Adventures to go on an adventure. Robin Song Reads stresses, do not endanger yourself, but feel free to go on an adventure and take us along. Robin Song Reads in his signature, his bravura video that would have made a Last Week in BookTube, he does that himself. Goes and sits in a river, watches two young snapping turtles tearing each other apart. He made April Adventures, and then he disappeared. So we don't have any idea where he is. But Joshua Crebo took his event to heart and went hiking in Waterton, Alberta. And he took us along on all of these trails that I imagine will look very different in a couple of months. The trails are still very sparse for winter. Joshua saw a lot of deer. A lot of deer. The deer don't appear very frightened by hikers in Waterton. And he also, at one point in the hiking video, he shows himself at basically a roadside store that had a little corner for $1 books. And he subsequently did a book haul of those books. Of course, adventure, smedventure, right? If you're a book person, that's what you're going to care about, that you found a stack of $1 books. So he did a book haul video about that. But the adventure video of him just walking around on a beautiful day in the Canadian wilds was really entertaining. Joe Spivey, naturally, is on this list. He did a video about the 3 different kinds of books that you review, and basically the 3 different kinds of ways you review them. Very interesting. Always interesting to hear what people who do reviewing think about it. Whether I read that in the Atlantic or Harper's, or whether I see somebody do a BookTube video about it. So really interesting to see. I wonder how much of it you will agree with if you do any book reviewing. Then we had a matchup, unplanned, rare, and wonderful on BookTube. Because I watch BookTube for all these different voices. All these passionate readers coming at their reading from all kinds of different perspectives. I love that. Absolutely love it. I've loved it for all this time. It's the reason that I keep coming back. And in this last week in BookTube, Christopher Russell and Robert G., reader of books, both did videos on the same book, All the King's Men by Robert Penn Warren. And they are radically different videos. I'm not saying that one is any better than the other, but they're radically different approaches. Bob is basically teaching the book to you, whereas Christopher is experiencing it through his limbic system late at night, traumatized late at night. You got to watch the two of them back to back. I'll leave links to both, but talk about the wonder of BookTube, that you can get these two people are both making videos for free for your enjoyment, and both about the same book in this particular instance, an American masterpiece, from radically different tenors, radically different approaches. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Who else have we got here? Oh, yes, talk about wonderful. Jim at Mystery Mayhem did a video about the top 10 hard-boiled murder mysteries. And along the way of doing that, of giving you a ton of great recommendations, he also talks about hard-boiled mysteries, what that is, what it is, what it incorporates, what can and cannot happen in it. Wonderful. Just wonderful. And finally, the active mind. My very own fellow dude bro, the active mind, did a video. I'll leave a link to it, where he does the familiar YouTube trope of reading 1-star reviews of some of his favorite books and being traumatized by them. Because you don't want to read that. You don't want to read someone saying, this was boring, when the book changed their life. I thought it was a wonderful video. I always love videos like that. There was an added irony in Brock's case, because so many of his favorite books would be generous to give them 1 star. So many of his favorite books are just steaming piles of garbage. So there was a fold of irony involved, because I was watching him, being traumatized by 1-star reviews of his favorite books, while at the same time nodding in vigorous approval of the 1-star reviews of some of his favorite books. Some of them are my favorite books. So then I was feeling his pain. but wonderful, always a wonderful, fun thing to do. I wish that I had the editing ability to do that myself. But anyway, that is just a very brief Last Week in BookTube overview. It's not the whole thing. It's just a few things just to wet your whistle and get me back into the swing of doing this every week. I'd like to do them on Mondays. But we'll see. Anyway, I'll wrap this up for now, but I'll be back. Thank you, BookTube.